Between Port Adelaide and Sturt. Port Adelaide won, but Sturt are back today. They're up against last year's number 3 side in West Adelaide. Stay with us. We are live this afternoon, as we will be throughout the season. And what a bumper year it is for South Australian football. The Crows have won back-to-back. Port Adelaide Power made the night final in the AFL, and footy is at an all-time high in South Australia. Crowds up 20%, and things are looking pretty good. Joining us in our commentary this year, Tim Ginniver, Port Adelaide skipper. I might just give him the record, Tim. It's 314 games, 308 goals. I'm sure you could have snuck a few more to finish with 1 and 1. Even played state footy, but here's the real trick, isn't it? 9 grand finals, 7 winning grand finals, and 3 as skipper. I'm very jealous of your record.
Thank you very much for that, David. And I tell you what, as I settle into retirement, I seem to get better with every week. It's fantastic.
Well, I became a very average player, then a very good player. 5 years later, you become a champion.
That's
I reckon
true.
by the time you're 5 years down the track, Jim, you will be an icon.
Yeah, well, we'll see how we go. But look, SNFL have sold themselves as seriously good footy, and I reckon that's a great selling point. I think you'll see here some really good football.
You've not long been out of the game. How do you rate it still against perhaps the 1990 levels when we thought we were on a high?
I think SNFL went through a bit of a dip, but look, the last 3 or 4 years, you've got to really admire the way it has come up. Crowds have come up. The great thing for me is that the kids that are coming to the game now, children now through the gates, has improved phenomenally, and they are the ones that really get involved at the grassroots level.
Well, it's great to have you with us throughout the season, but now it's back to Sturt taking on West Adelaide. They met 3 times last year. Sturt had the upper hand in round 7. It was 14-12 to 11 goals 10, and Burton kicked 5 goals. And in round 16, Tim, you'd remember this, Burton kicked 9 as Sturt demolished West Adelaide at Unley Oval.
Julian Burton's been very good for the Sturt Football Club since going there, also playing up forward. And really, you look at Westies, they only kicked 11 goals twice and 9 in the second game. They just can't get amongst it, could they?
The second semi-final, Sturt 15-8, West Adelaide 11-13. Jared Twitt kicked 5 goals straight that day, and Miles kicked 3 for West Adelaide. So I guess you could say, Tim, that the real problem between the two sides is West Adelaide's ability to score. Adam Richardson kicked 3 once against the Double Blues. We looked at times for Burton and Richardson to give us a head-to-head contest. We're not going to get that today. Adam Richardson is out with a hamstring injury.
Yeah, well, I believe he won the best and fairest of West Adelaide last year. Very good player. I like him. He lost a lot of weight during the pre-season, did the right thing. It's just a pity he keeps having trouble with his hamstrings. Maybe he's still growing.
Perhaps he is. He's a very big boy. As we go to the West Adelaide lineup, Michael Parsons joins us, our regular boundary rider from last year. West Adelaide looked pretty good on paper, Michael.
They look great, a lot better than the weather, David. I'm decked out. At no expense spared by the ABC. I've got the coat, I've got the bomber jacket. I can guarantee it's all going to be wet by the time we get through this game. But Westies, they're looking good. They've recruited reasonably well. They've got a big team. Not a good day for a big team, I might add. But they really do look well coming into their first game. They will miss Adam Richardson in the goal front. They're going to play Mellor there, captain of the club, and he can kick a goal. Also, Paul King, coming across from the Bays a couple of years ago, gets a run at centre-half forward. Fairly big, solid lad at about 192 centimetres. And if he can take a couple of grabs and give them an avenue to goal, then I think Westies are going to make a game of this one.
Tim, players to look for. Hodges is in a forward pocket. DeRosa is a rover, and Peter Bird, all 3 are new players. DeRosa from Essendon kicked 5 goals against Norwood. He looks a lively type of rover.
Well, there's big raps on him. He's come over from Essendon. It's one that Westies are looking forward to getting a bit out of, because they lost young Mark Powell last year. Really did give him a bit of zip around the pack. So he's gone, and unfortunately maybe DeRosa can take his place. But if you look at the West Adelaide side, their back line could almost be their forward line. Ed Richardson has played up there, and of course Timmy Symes has been a great centre-half forward over the years, now playing centre-half back. I think he's capable of playing both spots. Clint
Keary, the other recruit on a half-back flank, recruited to West Adelaide via the AFL draft. He's a valuable pickup for them.
He is, isn't he? He's one of those guys that are on that list of the Crows, and they've got other ones like Stenglein and Gallagher, all very, very good pickups, and they'll do well for their SNFL clubs.
How do you rate West Adelaide, Tim, when you look at the way they've recruited? They haven't lost many players, but they've recruited pretty well.
I'm impressed with Westies. Michael Taylor, for starters, when he got there, it's taken 3 or 4 years to really build Westies up. And the last 2 years, and especially last year making that preliminary final, it's going to do them the world of good. What they've got to do is keep their best players on the deck at all times, because their list is probably a bit thin.
We looked at the Double Blues, and they've lost a ruckman, they've lost a centreman. Brody Atkins seems to have gone to the Crows, and I'm not sure that Sturt will get him back a great deal this year. Simon Feast has gone to the Swans. They'll miss those 2 players.
Look, David, I think that's the big question on Sturt at the moment. Can they Feast and also French at the Power? He'll probably play a lot of games there, and Atkinson at the Crows. I mean, that's the big question over Sturt, whether they can actually persist with those players out.
As we go to the Double Blues lineup, Threadgold, their skipper, holds down the fullback position. position.
Good
They look
play.
pretty good. And Mark Nayley joins us. Mark, we saw Sturt last year so close to a grand final victory. Port Adelaide denied them.
Yes, David, last year's minor premiers are today up against the side that finished second in the league in West Adelaide, but Sturt on paper looked very, very strong. I know you mentioned a couple of players there that did go missing at the end of last year, namely their ruckman and also Barnaby French and also Atkinson over to the Crows, but they still look very, very strong right through the line. They're recruited very well, a couple of experienced players in Tasker and also Burton up the forward lines will be very handy. And a player, Woosnam, is playing against his old side today, so we know what they're like. When they play against their old sides, Tim, they normally do dominate.
Yeah, there'll be a bit of that, I think, today, Niles. But the one player that I've always liked was Damien Squire. He played at Power in the first season and then got dropped and then had an ordinary year at North Adelaide. But now at Sturt, maybe it's just going to give him that footing that he needs to become a real good SNFL player.
Yes, the half-back line, David. Robinson and Soderstrom last year. Now, the big fellow in Soderstrom, he really was fantastic. They played him up forward, they played him across the back line. At times, I mean, he really wasn't link man across that half-back line, but also with Matthew Powell, ex-Crows player, ex-Adelaide player, but really has, his time at Sturt, he really has developed and matured as a player, and he is also a very key player. I believe he'll start in the back pocket, but spend a fair bit of time also on the ball.
See, I worry, Tim, when Mark Nayley's saying some sensible things this early in the season. There on screen is Robert DeRosa, 21. A few people have said to me he looks a little bit like Robin McKinnon. McKinnon wore 20, DeRosa is 21, and he comes to us from Essendon, and he kicked 5 in a reserves match, in a trial game here a week ago against Norwood. He looked the goods.
He's got a lot of power in his legs, as you can see by the shots there on the telly. He's got a lot of power and he goes very hard. He's just got to probably work on his stamina, get through a full game and just be an impact player the whole day.
Sean Tasker is a valuable pickup. There he is wearing the number 21 Guernsey now. He's had an interesting career at North Adelaide, Michael Parsons. He started there, then he went to the Crows, then to Glenelg, and now to the Double Blues.
And they've got him to start in the forward pocket. He's played a lot of his football over recent years on the full-back line, half-back line and running forward, but he actually started it as a full forward under-19s. I think he won the goal kicking for North Adelaide under-19s, kicking 55 goals. So he's been there, done that, and I had a chat with him before, reckons everybody's pretty fit, particularly himself, and he's looking forward to getting a bag today.
There's West Adelaide, 22. To the right of the huddle is Shane Hodges. Tim, you would have seen a little bit of him at North Adelaide, a very quick wingman come rover.
I liked him as a player. I really thought that was probably a bit of a loss for North Adelaide, and they have had quite a few over the summer, but very good player. And it looks like he's got his shoulder heavily strapped. Bit of a Wayne Carey type strapping there. I hope he doesn't fall over like Wayne did with the groin last night.
He has had some shoulder problems over the last few seasons, and I guess that's a precaution.
Yeah, well, they all get it now these days, and it just keeps it in place and gives them more confidence than anything, I think, David.
And there's Big Burton now. They'll rely on him. He got amongst the goals last year. It was important for them, wasn't he?
He's a great player. Julian Burton attacks the ball probably harder than any player in the Sturt side. The way he goes straight through it. He was a great defender when he was at Port Adelaide, and he's turned it around, gone up forward for Sturt, and really just continues to kick goals and be an important focal point for them.
Dean Woosnam, an interesting player. He's playing his first game for the Double Blues today after being recruited from West Adelaide. He came from the Riverland, and I think there'll be some fireworks out there as we are about to start the game. Your commentator to pick up the opening call of the 1999 season is Mark Nayley.
Thank you, David. Umpires Slavin, Fox and Humphreys will control this game this afternoon. Umpire puts his hand in the air, just making sure that all players are set and ready for the opening bounce of season 1999. Richmond Oval in magnificent condition as the ball's held up. Big Stewart for West Adelaide will be up against Walton for the Double Blues. A good bounce to start today. Good hit forward by Walton. The ball comes to ground. Young twits there, first to receive, goes for the handball. Ball is still very wet and slippery. It hasn't rained here for around about 15 or 20 minutes here at Richmond Oval. Twit again, the second effort is outstanding. Good tackle from behind by Howard. Forces the error. The ball goes out of bounds in the forward pocket for the Double Blues.
Mark, we saw in the reserves game how difficult it was to work the ball up either end because of the rain and the weather earlier on today.
Ball thrown in. Good knock that time by Stewart. The ball's pushed forward, coming through. I think that's Ferguson sporting a new hairstyle. The White King Wonder, we might call him, David.
We'll have a look at it, Tim. Have you seen much like that in your time?
Well, a lot of players are doing it these days, and I'm not sure whether it makes you play any better, but all I can say is when you do something like that, make sure you get a couple of kicks.
Adelaide Uni boy, isn't he? a bit flamboyant for them as Richter from 55 out, the ball still dry. Kicks into the slight breeze here at Richmond Oval. Burton from behind set himself, but finally it squeezes out. Oh, that hair's working. He's got his first, and the Double Blues are on the board. A great goal to the Double Blues.
Well done, Ferguson. I called it on him. I said, you better get a couple of kicks, son. He read that off the hands beautifully because he was up here at half forward when the play was made, and he got himself right down in the forward line, read it off hands, and we see Johnny Richter bring it in. Great player, Johnny Richter, over the years. Come off the hands there. There he is. Good slipping handball. Beautiful work there. Snapped it over his head. Well done.
I thought White's handball with the wet ball was just a beauty.
He's got beautiful skills for a big man. Really has.
Back in the middle of the ground. The Double Blues strike first. There's 6 points. West Adelaide yet to score. Good thump forward by Waltham. Coming out hard. It's like Geddes. The ball's quickly onto the boot. It's kicked out wide towards the grandstand wing. Leading the race for the ball there. Double Blues defender coming out there. The ball's been kept in. Over there is Richter. Again, it was Geddes over the football. Back to Lennon. Lennon kicks the ball quickly up forward. Out comes the White King Wonder. He takes it again. Unfortunately, couldn't give the handball across. The ball's out of bounds over the boundary line.
Well, I thought that ball was out there, Mark Nally, to tell you the truth, right in the wing position here, but you play to the whistle, and that's what these Sturt boys did, and Lennon got it on the boot quickly.
As the ball comes back into play, White doing the ruck work on the forward line, flicks the ball down, loose ball falls. Desperate work as players collide on top of it. Damien Squire, the new chum from North Adelaide, shows his colours in the Double Blues. He looks good in that jumper. And a good crowd, as they always do at West Adelaide.
See Michael Parsons down there on the boundary line with umbrella over, so the conditions still aren't right for our boundary rider. But both teams at the moment handling the conditions reasonably well. The ball comes back to Richter. Received the free kick, maybe a little bit high. As you can see him there, just holding his head. So Richter coming up for his second kick this afternoon. Maybe just outside of his range. Puts it high into the forward line. Where's White? He's the one he'd be looking for. At the back again is Burt. Quickly onto the boot, Tim, and brings up his first major and the Double Blues second.
Well, I think Johnny Richter will be very proud of himself. He's been involved in 2 goals now, earned the free kick down here at centre half forward, put his head in where it shouldn't belong, got a free kick. Everybody went up for the pack. Julian Burton at the back of the pack on a rainy day is intelligent football, let the other 2 guys go up. Well done, Burt.
He played a bit with him at Port Adelaide, Tim. He couldn't make the grade there, but he's been quite dynamic for the Double Blues.
Well, you wouldn't believe it. He was 21st man for the 1992 grand final. He played 22 minor round games that particular year, so he was a bit stiff at Port Adelaide.
So we're at the home of West Adelaide, Richmond Oval, and we're 4 minutes into the 1999 season. The Double Blues have jumped away to a 2-goal lead as Waltham again thumps the ball down. Toomey takes it. Lennon crashes on top of him, takes him to the ground. It's Willing early, and I've just got the feeling that West Adelaide need to fire up and find a little bit of emotion.
Well, there's a free kick being paid here, David. It's come out of the pack by the looks of it to Woosnam, and you can guess what happened there, I think.
I think you can. Woosnam, he'll get a bit of a hurrah from his former teammates, I promise you today. He can look for a bruised and battered body. That's a great mark out there, Tommy Waltham. Well, he missed most of last season, and they certainly didn't really miss him because of the form of Feast, but isn't he going to be important for them this year?
Well, he has dominated the ruck so far. I mean, there's only been 3 or 4 centre bounces, and he has won every one of them. Mark Stewart not getting close enough for the centre bounce for mine. He needs to make a contest of it.
Waltham with an ungainly kicking style, puts it high and towards the full forward post. Who stays down? Symes went up, brought the ball to ground, and thumping it across the line was Johnny Parker, the best team man of 1998 for West Adelaide.
Yeah, Symes, he brought the ball to ground then, but didn't really recover quick enough, and his teammate came in, Parker, and just punches through the line. Well done there.
Double Blues doing all the attacking so far. Hasn't been across the centre line. Favoured by a slight advantage of this breeze here this afternoon. It's not much, possibly a goal, maybe 2 in it. We may get our boundary rider to check on that as we see the West Adelaide now go forward. Out again is, looks like Weatherall. Good movement by Geddes. It's back. It comes back inside to Lennon. Lennon playing in the middle this afternoon. Gives the handball across to Richter. What can he do this time? He puts it high up towards Ferguson. The ball's gone over the back. Has it got through? I think it has. Great attacking movement by Richter to bring up the third goal for the Double Blues.
Mark Nayley, well, goal umpires are always going to pay those ones. You can just see it on their faces. They love it. Everybody attacks the ball on the line. Everybody missed it, and over it went.
Two great shepherds, though, weren't there? Burton's the first one. Look at that. Oh, actually, it was Ferguson. And then Woosnam.
Yep.
Just that final important touch.
But Johnny Richter again, pumping the ball into the forward lines. Well done.
So Ferguson and Woosnam create something out of nothing. And Richter gets a goal on the board. I'm not sure that he wouldn't be very happy about it, because sometimes you get one you don't deserve. And I guess for Johnny Richter, that was the one he got.
Well, if he keeps on this sort of form, he'll have 50 touches today in the wet. He is unbelievable.
Conditions are made for Johnny Richter. He is an impact player, though. Phil Carman last year used him off the bench for most of the season. He seems to be able to go in spurts and then come off for a rest.
He looks fitter this year, David, for mine. I think his stamina, obviously, over the pre-season has been excellent.
In ruck. First time the ruck's been won by Sturt. He thumps it down. Loose ball goes towards half forward. Look how desperate the Double Blues defenders are.
Very good defence all through last season. They're a very tight-knit group, and sometimes Seamus Maloney, he likes to wander down the ground. Just keep an eye on him.
Ball's thrown up again. Walton just a little bit too tall for Sturt at the moment. His timing is run up a little bit better. Good soccer off the ground there by Powell. Coming out hard as Symes for the Bloods. He goes towards centre half forward. At the back there was King. He couldn't take it. Again, the Double Blues will go forward through Richter. This time it's a high ball. Out comes Burton. Uses his strength. Great ball control by White. Swings around the left boot. Puts it up to White. The White King wonder. He takes a great mark in these conditions and will go back and line up for his second goal of the afternoon.
Well, Mark Nayley, is it raining or am I just imagining things? Because the way White handled that ball, it was a dry day. It was beautiful stuff onto his left foot. And what a good grab by Ferguson.
For our viewers at home, Tim, they can't see it. It is pouring at Richmond Oval.
It is now. It's sweeping across the ground.
Umbrellas up. We see Ferguson coming in. Puts it high into the air. I think he has the direction. We'll wait for the umpire. Two fingers go up. That's Ferguson's second goal for the afternoon. A great start by the Double Blues.
Well, you've got to admire the way Sturt are playing at the moment. They're in numbers. They're desperate. I think continuing the form from their trial against Norwood last week, where they dominated that game and won it by about 6 goals. So the form of the boys and the skill level of Sturt is very impressive up to this stage.
I saw Donald Dickey in a night grand final with an unusual haircut. Tim, it does put a lot of pressure on a player, and Ferguson is withstanding the pressure.
He's answering the critics, isn't he?
So far.
You liked it.
4-1. I think there's a few of us who'd love to have some hair. Kenny Sheldon sitting up at on the river would enjoy that. This is Weatherall towards centre half forward. Burton overran it. Loose ball falls to the back of the pack. Flying out underneath is Ed Richardson with that new short crop hair. He looks like he's meaning business this year, and he goes for the boundary line.
Well, you've just got to be careful. All these guys change their hairdos over the summer, don't they?
One fellow who'd like a bit of hair is our boundary rider, Michael Parsons. Conditions appalling.
Not good down on the boundary, chaps. Very wet. Mark Nayley's called a 1-goal breeze. Under the grandstand where you're nice and dry and warm, maybe so. But out of the outer wing where they're playing the footy, I'd say it's a 3 or 4 goal breeze pushing down the ground along with a lot of rain.
We've got a beautiful shot of you, Michael, the umbrella.
Thank you, mate. I'm having a good time at the footy. It's winter time.
It is a winter game, and I hope you enjoy your year on the boundary.
Thank you very much.
Again, the ball's kicked forward. You just wouldn't expect these sort of conditions. The opening of the SANFL Premiership season.
Yes, May 26th normally brings better weather than this, or 27th, so it's a bit of bad luck.
Ball's thrown in, contesting his Symes and White. White again with great skills, just takes the ball out of the air, gives the handball across. Couldn't quite find his target, and Bannock sees the ball out over the line.
Third in the best and fairest last year for West Adelaide Bannock. He's won it, of course, a couple of years back, and he's been a very consistent performer since coming across from the Richmond Football Club. Not so many years ago, he was the #1 draft choice in the national draft, and he really has given them good service, to be frank. Tasker calls for a free kick. The umpire's not having any of it. Matty Broon comes up with the ball. Now, it won't be an easy job today for the umpires, as the ball is going to ground off, and Symes high over the top. Thumps it down. Richter held himself over the ball with great courage, and he wins himself a free kick, I think, for the effort.
Well, that'd be his third, I reckon. Third free kick today.
He's just putting his head down, isn't he? Tail up at the moment in these conditions. A little bit of experience by Johnny Richter. We think of the amount of games that he has played, we go through them. He's played 239 up till today. This is his 240th. It really is a shame to experience. In the back, the free kick will be paid there. We should see Bruce Lennon come up, prodigious kicker of the football. Should have no problems in making the distance here at Richmond Oval.
Stood his ground courageously, and I think the umpire sort of said that might have just got him in the back there. It was a bit careless by Ed Richardson, but...
Well, what do you reckon as a player, Tim? You're just out of the game. If you were the offending player, would you be happy with that free?
If I was the offending player, no. If I was the one receiving it, yes.
Well, Bruce Lennon brings up the 5th major in the opening minutes of this game here at Richmond Oval. That's his first. Double Blues really are in control of this game.
Well, we're going to have to put it down to Johnny Richter again, aren't we? I think that's probably the 4th attack that he's made. Here he comes again, another free kick that he earned. Puts it into Lennon, who's made some space in at centre-half forward. Gets a careless free kick from Ed Richardson's attack. And beautiful work by Lennon, just put it straight through the middle. But Johnny Richter, he's the damaging player. Get somebody on him.
31 points, the deficit for West Adelaide. They need to find something and find it quickly. Their pre-season form would not have indicated this. They were travelling reasonably well as Weatherall thumps it forward. Over the top of it and missing it was Keary. He just kept going, the young fella. Fighting hard over the top of the ball is Twitt. Now, what's he in number 13, Jared Twitt? We saw him in 40 last year, and he dives in over the top of Chris Barrett.
Well, he's come up the ranks, hasn't he? Come up from 40 to 13, ranked number 13 in the club now.
Gee, I don't know why you'd go for 13. Adam Lang, of course, has gone to North Melbourne. He's been drafted, and the jumper becomes available. Tasker, the new recruit from Glenelg, tries to get the kick away. It was thumped, it was smothered. 44 West Adelaide is Ansell, and he goes forward. Look at this. Great work by Greg Mellor. He's a courageous player, but he hasn't seen much of the ball on the forward line.
Yes, it's the first time they got inside 50. He's gone directly across the ground. It was a bit dangerous, but it has come off.
Adam Hooper, game number 13. He's only kicked 1 career goal before this. And a real test. This is the one that West Adelaide needs. He's 40 metres out directly in front with a wet ball, and it is very slippery. Head leant back and he slewed it off to the left. It was really a poor kick. Mellor comes back on the left, evades Soderstrom, who put out the leg and picks up a free kick.
Yes, fair enough. It wasn't deliberate. It was an accident, so he won't be reported, I don't believe. The umpire's having a chat to him now. But he is he bringing out the book?
Yes,
he might be too. He's going to report him.
Deliberate trip is reportable, Tim, and that's how the umpires deem it.
Automatic 50.
The rule there is that Soderstrom was beaten and Mellor had beaten him, and it's an automatic 50-metre penalty. So if he's,
in these conditions,
if he deems that it's a deliberate, he was gone past him, stuck the boot out, he has no option. The umpire has no choice in this matter.
Look at this, he's tried there.
oh no, nothing in that at all. It's ridiculous report.
Finding his balance, I reckon. Finding his balance. I think he's got to be very stiff with that one.
It's wet and it's slippery. He's just trying to find his feet. There's nothing in that at all.
Mellor from point-blank range comments. Tim Ginniver and Mark Nardi, they'll get their chance in a moment. Mellor gets the first on the board for West Adelaide, and it's over to you, Tim.
Well, look, they needed that goal, West Adelaide. Greg Morlow, he worked very hard for it. First, he got the kick inside 50, swap play, and then when the ball hit the deck, he worked and worked and worked. Soderstrom, unfortunately, copped his legs with it, and he's been reported and also got a 50-metre. So, Greg Miller start the ball rolling for West Adelaide today. They get their first on the board, trailing Sturt 5 goals, 1.
There's 14 and a half minutes in. I think we've lost the football.
I think there's a couple of West Adelaide's kids that pinch. They don't want Sturt to kick a couple more. West Adelaide have got some work to do, Mark.
Yes, as we heard from Michael Parsons, David, there is an advantage of about a 3-goal breeze. So at the moment, the double Blues are only up by 4 goals, so West Adelaide is still in this game. Good tap again. Comes down. Number 24 for the double Blues is Damien Squire. Comes across. Symes will get there first. Good shepherd there by Ansell. Just gave Symes a little bit more time to be able to pick the ball up. He's a big boy. Couldn't quite get down to it. Just made sure the ball went out over the line.
Symes has got the job on White today, so that'll be a good battle. I'd like to see who wins that one because both are very good players in my eyes.
In other matches around town, the Eagles are, well, leading 14-6, so that's early in the first quarter from Glenelg Oval. South and Port haven't scored at Noarlunga Oval. Very tight one down there.
It will be all day, I think, at Noarlunga. Imagine the conditions there, mate.
Well, you played there, Tim. You didn't like it as a player?
Well, if it's 3-goal breeze down here, it'll be 10 down there.
At least 10. At least 10. I remember Elizabeth Oval back in the late 70s, early 80s, it was terrible. It was as bad as Noongar is these days. You see the ball come to ground. West Adelaide go forward again. In there's 15 is Andriski. He'll come up with the football. People really have, they've got their wet weather gear out this afternoon. They definitely need it. Umpire is just indicating there's a blood rule. I think it is Andriski that'll come off. We'll just have to wait and see. That's Broom. I think Matthew Broom. A little bit of a cut over the top of the nose there. Quite impressed last year with Matthew Broom.
I was going to say he was a terrific pickup. Played 19 games. He only kicked 11 goals, but if you think about it, early in the season he really struggled for fitness. He was injured, but then when he got his get himself going, I thought he was their most important player late in the year.
Finds a lot of the football, and I think today you'll find with guys trying to dive on the ball, and a lot of packs forming, there could be a lot of boots in the head, accidentally, of course.
So back with the action. We're just waiting for the umpire now. Player coming on, and just see there in screen is Peter Bird. His first game for the new club. Only 18 years of age.
From the Bendigo Pioneers.
Got another interchange happening here.
Richter's coming off. Cataneri will be coming on. So both coaches making changes. As Miller just couldn't quite keep control of the ball.
Mark Nally, can you help me with that one? Is Johnny Richter hurt? Because he has been involved in every goal.
Last year, Johnny Richter did spend a fair bit of time changing with Matthew Power, ruck robing from the bench. We see this year he may be doing the same or a similar role with Mervyn Cataneri.
Loose ball, Bird goes after it, crashing through was Geddes. He was taken heavily, and look at it, stacks on the mill as all players converge, and the umpire has no choice but to come and bounce. We mentioned earlier, Tim, in regard to Richter, that Phil Carman uses him for about 15-17 minutes a quarter as an impact player, tells him to go as hard as he can for as long as he can, and then he brings him off for a rest, and he's been pretty important for them in that role.
Well, he certainly couldn't have done more than what he has already in this game.
Threadgold, the skipper, off the ground, but it slews out of bounds on the full, and the free kick will come to Bird, who gets his first free kick, his first kick, in fact, in South Australian football.
That lady there, if she had dropped her umbrella, she could have taken that ball.
I reckon a Port Adelaide girl would have. Hey, that's how they train them down there, Tim, isn't it?
Well, they're good old ladies, don't worry.
Not so old, some of them. This is Mark Stewart, another new recruit for West Adelaide. Doug Thomas just keeps finding these big fellas, Mark.
Yes, you look at the players over the years that they've had. They've developed Marsh, also Micken. There's plenty of players that have come through the...
Wren, Watkins,
a couple of other big players there you could mention.
And they found another one. This is Bird again. Goes short to DeRosa, but he kicked the ground. Threadgold tries to crash the pack and couldn't do so. Look at the desperation of players. I think that's a feature.
Well, West Adelaide, to me, they've picked up their desperation in the last 15 minutes because it looked like the game was getting away from them there. And if they didn't stay within that 4-goal region, then it's going to be very tough in this second quarter to try and keep in touch.
As we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
Yeah, just to get you up to date with those interchanges, Johnny Richter doing exactly what you boys pointed out, just having a run off the bench, and Matthew Bruin, as soon as they control that breathing, just a scratch on the nose, he'll be back in the game.
I love it when you're out the game. Those things are just a scratch on the nose. I like that.
What do you reckon they are, Tim?
Well, they sting a bit at the time.
You're soft. I never thought I'd say that about a Port Adelaide guy. Weatherald picked it up and shot it forward. Dempsey intercepts, Barrett goes after it, but pressure comes in the form of Stuart Graham. I've liked his desperation, and there's one of the, I think, the West Adelaide supporter.
Yeah,
She's dressed in red.
Muffley Cataneri puts the ball forward. Barrett comes out. Couldn't get his boot to ball. Conditions are starting to deteriorate a little bit here at Richmond Oval. Players finding it a little bit difficult now just to get one clean grab at this. Back to Barrett. Barrett just tucks it under his arm, quite prepared to take the tackle and go to ground.
Well, Sturt took advantage of the dry ball early in the game. It wasn't raining all that heavy, and they got the goals on the board, and now the ball is very wet, and players finding it very difficult to control.
Waltham high over the pack, thumps the ball to ground again. Lennon goes after it, and you can just see a little tape over the face of Matty, over the nose of Matty Bruin as he prepares to come back on. It's important that they get him back into the action. I don't know what Matty Bruin said. He said, "Yeah, Mum." I think his mum might have been yelling at him from the boundary line. I think she's a long way away in Geelong. 33 for is Keary. I have to have a look at him each time. He's a tough little customer. compact, to say the least, as Ansell. Kicks it out wide. This is allowing an opportunity for West Adelaide through Howard to run. He chips it short. Out on the lead, working hard over the top of the ball. On that occasion was Hodges. We haven't seen anything of him at all. In fact, I think he's hardly had the ball. And this time it's out of play, and Bird is off. Bruner's back on. They've snuck it during the change.
Well, to be fair there to Hodges, the ball hasn't been down there all that often. Probably had about 5 minutes of the whole play down there. So to be fair to him, but Fred Gold, good defensive work.
Going over the top, we see Lennon comes up with it. In there also is Power. Good work by Andriski.
It's just opened up, hasn't it, Mark? It's really coming down now.
Now that player was actually Adam Ansell. There's a couple of players out there, especially in these sort of conditions. It's very hard to tell them apart. Again, the ball's thrown up. Players diving over the top, just trying to get their hand on the football. Powell comes in with it, tucks it under between his legs. Plenty of strong body work being shown by both sides. Stewart comes in. Take the ruck contest with Walton. Quickly to the boot, finds Katindri. No, it's Twitt. Twitt onto his right boot, kicks it up, looking for Burton. Couldn't find Burton. Back there is Parker. Just quite happy to concede the behind. Double Blues now. They're 5 goals to 32. They lead West Adelaide just for one solitary goal.
Well, you just saw in the pack there, Seamus Maloney got a very quick kick out and hit young Twitt on the chest, and he managed to pump it in quickly to an open forward line. You've got to do that in conditions like this. Get the quick kick out of the packs and move it on quickly into an open forward line.
So go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
Yes, just to let you guys know that the weather is actually deteriorating and the wind has come up even more. There's a point is rushed through, but there's 2 new ruckmen playing in this game, and one of them's dominating completely, and that's Walton from Sturt.
Have you had a chance to see Waltham much at all, Michael? I know he was injured for most of last year, but the year before he showed some impressive form.
No, and he didn't get a chance really last year with those 2 big guys in Feast and Barnaby French, but from what he's showing today, jumping at the ball on a wet day like today, he's going to be a player for Sturt and fill the gap left by Simon Feast.
Interesting, Tim, isn't it? A player who's played 25 games is considered a virtual recruit.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? But just have a look at Ed Richardson's kick here. It's come off the inside of his boot. I think he took a bit of turf with it, but look, you gain experience throughout. I think you need 2 or 3 seasons before you can say they're experienced.
Wide upended, Bannock couldn't get away. Lennon applied the tackle and takes him to ground. And umpire Slavin indicates that he'll have a bounce as rain sweeps across Richmond Oval. It is pelting down. And Tim, if you ever want to get close to the action, we can probably whack you down on the boundary in the second half.
Very kind of you, but I'm very comfy, thank you.
Barrett around the corner. Jared Twitt just marks it and resets the double blue forward line. He's just calm, this young fella, shows great maturity. Picked up as a rookie by the Crows this year, and I think he might get an opportunity. That's a fine mark in the wet to mark, Stewart.
Stewart's starting to come into it now, and he's starting to make a bit more contest in the ruck, Jules.
Stewart goes wide, looking for Andriski.
What I am impressed with there, Mark, now is just the way Stewart is finding the back hole and filling it in and taking those grabs now.
Yes, we see Walton in the middle, just has too much jump for him, but he is working very, very hard, Stewart, getting back, as Tim said, just helping his backman just cut off that long ball coming in. Banning's over the top. Symes in there also. He comes up with the football. Good tackle there over the top by Matthew Powell.
Interesting game last night, Tim, with North Adelaide knocking off Norwood at Norwood Oval. It's really opened up the top of the ladder for somebody to really grab a lead.
Can I brag and say that I picked North Adelaide? Can I brag and say that?
But is it verifiable?
Well, to tell you the truth, I just liked their form. The way they went to Essendon, they took a bus trip, would you believe this? Took a bus trip, arrived at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then had to play at lunchtime and still managed to win the game. So
now that was against the Essendon reserves?
Yeah, on that form, I said, yes, I'll pick North Adelaide.
I think that's a pretty good form guide.
Weather conditions here all of a sudden it really have got bad. This wind has picked up. As you can see, the trees there at Homer TV. People rugging themselves up. Umbrellas really be hard to keep hold of at the moment. This breeze really has got bad.
Those regular listeners of the ABC Footy Show, you might remember Mark Nayley's classic comment in the grand final last year. The grass was green. So I think we might just get you to stick to the footy, Mark, if you wouldn't mind.
Just getting a good water here this afternoon. I'm sure Honest Doug would be happy with that. Ball's thrown up. Half forward for the Double Blues. It was a quick kick forward. Coming out looked like White, or was it Watham? I think it was Watham coming out there. And Tasker at the bottom of the pack was just pounced upon. 26-minute mark into this first quarter. Double Blues so far at 5-3. They're 33. The Blood still with that 6 points. The goal kicked by Greg Mellor. It's come back. Scotty Robinson takes a mark on his chest. He wants to play on. He goes down the line. He's got Muffy Continuary out there. He's quick on his feet. What can he do here? Good knock forward. Couldn't quite find the space. Good handball across there by Andruski. Very, very hard to get a possession here in these sort of conditions. In there also, 27, Stuart Graham, another new player for the Double Blues.
You just got to watch in these conditions, just when you're tackling, just make sure you get low, because you always seem to slip up around the neck because it is slippery. We're going to see a lot of this today, Mark Gnarly. It's just going to be the defending team trying to get it to that outer side boundary and just keep it out of bounds.
Just going to say how important were those first 3 goals by the Double Blues when the conditions weren't quite this bad. Kicking with that breeze, as we heard Michael Parton say, favouring about 3 to 4 goals. As the ball's thrown out, Symes is in there, used his body up against Tasker.
I think those goals are going to be very valuable. With a 5-goal 3 to 1-goal start, I think Sturt will be rubbing their hands together at quarter time.
Unimpressive stats to Tasker as Lennon gathers the ball, floats out a handball to Continuary. He got through traffic, tried to push it further afield, couldn't do so successfully. Off the ground, DeRosa gets the run of the ball, former Essendon player. Just grubbers it forward into space, but Soderstrom for the Double Blues is there defensively. A natural left footer. He's forced onto the right boot. It's a high one. Geddes underneath it, couldn't mark it, but now Stewart tries to crash through, couldn't get through. The Double Blue defence was very strong.
Well, Mark Stewart again on the back play, just seems to be filling in the right gaps. I think teams are going to be prepared to say, drop a few away from these packs and try and get a loose ball out to somebody.
Ball will be thrown up once again. We'll see Stewart up against Walton. Umpires found a free kick in there. Must be very hard to pick up. I think he'll go to Stewart. Bit of face painting here this afternoon.
I think there's a run in that too.
Sure, that's Symes who takes the kick. But these conditions, really, I mean, it's a good disposal. The wind's just picked it up and taken it straight over the boundary line. The free kick will come back to Tasker. Tasker on the outer wing. Puts it high towards centre half forward. Symes is there, Stewart's in front. Also wide. Again, we see Andruski and Continuary just seeing the ball out over the line.
It's Greg Dempsey on the other side there for West Adelaide. It'll be an interesting season for him, Mark, after being dropped from the Crows list, because sometimes it's a bit difficult to come back from that sort of rejection.
White wins the tap. Loose ball falls down. Continuary just having a little scrape with Dempsey behind plate. 2 players just sort it out and have a bit of a joke as the ball comes back in their direction. They're heading after it again. Matty Broome can't beat the ball to the boundary line, and yet again there's a throw in. Whoa! Well, you wouldn't score either of those.
It was a bit of an accident, I think. Wet day.
White opposed to Symes. White from behind thumped the ball forward. Lennon playing out of the middle to Maloney onto the right foot. Forces around the corner, but only into space. Underneath it and dropping it on that occasion was Howard. Couldn't quite gather it in. And the Double Blues now through White. A high bomb into the goal square. Who wants it? Ed Richardson falls back on it. Getting there late was Stuart Graham, and the ball has hit the post.
We just see the way Howard approached that ball when it came in. He tried to get it right up and high on his chest to mark the ball. Just flat-handed. In wet conditions, flat-handed. Therefore, you get a second grab at it if you can't catch it the first time.
Richardson to bring the ball back in. Looks to the outer flank. He puts it high once again. Double Blues are there in number. They thump the ball back forward. First will be Einstein. Einstein quickly across to Seamus Maloney. Maloney couldn't get his handball forward. Good second effort there by Continuary. The ball's knocked towards the boundary line. In there trying to keep control with Matthew Broome. Once again, in these sort of conditions, just quite happy just to waste a little bit of time, realising the second quarter, the Bloods will be favoured by, as we heard before, about a 3 or 4 goal breeze.
I think Michael Taylor got the message out there very early. Get to that defensive side boundary and just keep kicking it out there.
Seamus Maloney wins it. Lennon, a quick left footer into space, just brought it forward. Did so beautifully, allows Burton to run onto it. He gets out the handball in the direction now over the top of it. Looked like Weatherall. Very difficult to pick him up. Ansell couldn't take it cleanly. And Maloney is dumped unceremoniously by Mellor, and it's caused a blue.
There's been a free kick paid, and that's probably just to stop the fight, I reckon, David. I thought the tackle was fair. He got him around the waist, brought him down pretty heavily, I admit, but...
Katineri took exception to it, but Mellors with the free kick forces it to the boundary line, and Tasker's looking for it out of bounds on the full. And I think the umpire agrees with him. So Sean Tasker gets kick number 2, both free kicks for out of bounds on the full, and blasts it towards the half-forward zone. The big men fly. White was up, but the siren has sounded. It's quarter time at Adelaide, at Richmond Oval, with West Adelaide 1 goal straight, kicked by Greg Mellor midway through the first quarter. Sturt a 5-4-34. Tim, you've got to say that the Double Blues opening really set it up for them.
Well, we said with the dry ball, take advantage of that and the lack of rain that was around at the time, and they certainly did that. I think Richter, you have to give him a lot of credit. He was pumping the ball into the forward line continuously. They got 4 or 5 goals within the first 6 or 7 minutes, and that really set it up for Sturt's first quarter. West Adelaide, on the other hand, I thought their last half of the quarter was excellent. They really got back on top. Defensively, they did the right thing and just took it out to that outer boundary. It's ugly footy at times, but it's what you have to do in conditions like these. It's managed to keep them in the ball game. They're 4 goals down, but that is going to be very difficult to make up in these conditions now.
Yes, we talk about those conditions. They really are going to favour the side that can control them the best. But we see quarter-time scores here at Richmond Oval. We see the Double Blues, they're 5 goals for 34. West Adelaide, they're 1 goal, which is 6 points. And you're watching it at home, nice and comfortable, live and exclusive to ABC Sport.